Hello and welcome to how to create your dream career as a social media director. I'm really excited to share this information with you today because today we're going to be talking about how to build your freelance business as a social media director. And by freelance, I mean having a business that doesn't have any employees, where you can have a real lifestyle business where you could be able to travel the world or stay at home in your underwear. And I kind of saying that, kind of kidding, but also true. You know, I've had the ability now to travel around the world. I haven't gone all over the world, but I've done a lot of extended holidays. And now I just had a kid, and now I get to stay at home, and not necessarily my underwear, but usually, my track pants, my pajamas, I play video games. All right. So you get that sort of freedom and that lifestyle. So when I started my business, when I very first started it, I was like, I want to build a $20 million a year business or a $40 million a year business. And I'm going to have an agency. I'm going to have an office with employees. And that's what I first thought that I wanted. And then I realized that I don't want that at all, because as soon as I got my first employee, it became a headache. And I was like, now I have to manage this person. It became another job for me, and I did not enjoy it. So then I started going back and saying, do I really need $20 million a year? And I realized I don't. I'm a really simple person. I don't need all that stuff. Most of the things that I want, I have, right? And I have the ability to get, right? And so I realized I really don't need to reach that level. So my goal now is to have a business that will do $1 million a year with no employees. And that's kind of what I want to share with you today, is like how to create a lifestyle business as a freelance social media director. All right. Oopsie daisies. So there's a lot of new people who are here today. I do these webinars every 2 weeks. I bring on either a guest to come in and share, or I'll share information with you. We also run the Internet Masterminds meetup group as well. That happens every week as well. But what I noticed was with this webinar in particular, we did a lot of new advertising and used promotional partners to get the word out. And there's a lot of new people who don't know who I am. All right, so if you're new, can you just type the letter 1 in the chat box? I just want to know kind of who's new and who already is familiar with me. Just want to kind of gauge who showed up here. Okay, so yeah, so we're getting tons of ones. So thank you. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go really quick, give you a bio, give you a bit of my background so you kind of see where I came from and kind of, where I'm headed. Then we're going to get right into the content, because one thing I hate is getting on a webinar or presentation and the presenter just talks about themselves for like half the time. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk really fast just so everybody gets a good feel of who I am, to make sure that I'm the kind of person that you'd want to learn from as well. All right, so let's get right into it. So if you were to Google my name, you would see there's lots of information about me. Primarily, you're going to see that I'm the founder of Web Friendly. All right, but you can actually go through Google and you're going to notice I think there's over 20 or 30 pages on my name of just like content from me. I think it may even be more than that. That was the last time I checked. It was probably more than a year ago. But you can do a Google search. There's lots of information about me. Right? If you were to Google, if you were to look up my name on YouTube, you're going to see tons and tons of videos of me, presentations that I've given at different conferences, workshops, promo videos we've done, lots of testimonial videos. So there's lots of content if you just Google my name or look me up on YouTube. But what I want to share with you right now is the stuff that you won't find on YouTube. So my own personal story and where I'm at today. So who's seen this movie? Type a 1 in the chat box if you've seen this movie. So when I was young, I think it was maybe 14 years old when this movie came out, and I wasn't supposed to be watching this movie. It was a bad movie, right? I mean, so anyone who's seen it knows it's kind of inappropriate. But somehow it inspired me to get into film. I really liked how a story could be told in a different way, right? Like most movies were linear, right? Whereas Pulp Fiction had a very non-linear kind of story. And I don't know what it was. It sparked a creative side of me. And I started studying film at the time. I was in high school or getting into high school, and I wanted to take a course called directing and script writing. And my dream was to do a short play on a scene from Pulp Fiction. And in order to get into directing and script writing, I had to take acting classes, which I hated, and I was shy. And believe me, I have no desire to be on stage, but I did it, and I kind of broke out of my comfort zone. It was my first time kind of really knowing what it was like to step outside your comfort zone, and I mean very, very, very uncomfortable. I was a very insecure kid in high school, but this really helped me get out of my comfort zone. I got into the directing and script writing class and I failed because the teacher didn't want me to do the Pulp Fiction play that I dreamed of and wanted me to do a more traditional play. He said, "Why break the rules?" He's like, "Learn the rules first, then you could start breaking the rules." And I didn't agree, and so he failed me. And it was a real disappointment for me, but that didn't stop me from getting into the film industry. I actually did work in the film industry for, I think, 2 years. I was a props person. I worked on lots of different movies and TV shows, and learned a lot of great lessons from working in the film industry. And one of them being that people who had worked in the film industry for, like 10 years plus, most of them, they hated their job and they hated their life. The film industry demands very long hours from you, and it requires you to work long hours on long stretches and then find the next job, right? Like you're never consistently being able to get work, especially when you're first starting out. You always have to go out and try to find new business, or not new business, but new jobs, like new gigs in the movies. And so it's kind of like you'd work for a long time, you make a lot of money, but you're just working all the time, like literally all like you're talking about 15-hour days, like 12-hour day would be the minimum you'd work in the movie industry, okay? But a lot of times it's 15, 18. I think I did a 20-hour day was the most I'd ever done. We did movies where we had to go like on location and like live somewhere else for a long period of time. Those are usually fun, but they were also draining as well because again, you're just working all the time. And I realized I didn't want to have that lifestyle, and so. At the time, the real estate industry was booming, and my friends convinced me to become a what I used to call a real estater. Okay, so this is actually called a realtor for those of you who don't get the joke. So I used to call it being a real estater, and my friend made this as a joke for me. That's not a real mustache, and I tried to get into real estate, but I had no sales experience. I had no marketing experience. And I ended up, I was in real estate for a year. I ended up selling one place, and it was for my dad. And so I do appreciate my dad giving me the business. He also gave me a referral to a friend, but I never ended up actually selling the place. But by the end of that year, I was over $30,000 in debt. And I don't know if anyone knows how that feels like. I know that if you've been to college or university, you probably know what that feels like, but it's not the same, right? When you're really working and you're really hustling, and then you don't really make it, and you're just living off of your credit cards, and you have bad habits of this lifestyle that you used to live that you can no longer afford, but you don't even logically figure it out. Like I was young and I was partying, on the weekends and going out. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but I was just dumb, right? And having $30,000 in debt, I had no real career skills. I had a job mentality. I didn't have that entrepreneur mentality at this point. I went to my managing broker and I said, "What should I do? Like I'm broke. I've got no marketing skills. I got no sales skills. Like where should I go from here?" And he said, "Well, you're young. Why don't you try some internet marketing or do this internet marketing stuff?" So it just so happened that a week prior to that, I had met a guy that had just moved from United States. He lived in Seattle, and he had just moved there a few years prior. He was in India. Okay, so he was a great guy, and here's this picture here. This is me and him. His name was Sandeep, and he had a really thick accent, a thick Indian accent, and he was telling me about SEO. And when he first told me about SEO, my first question was, "Is that even legal?" Right? And so, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about internet marketing, but he was trying to sell me on like doing SEO for my real estate business. He had no idea how broke I was. He was trying to sell me something, and I was like, So I went back to him and I said, "Hey man, like, can you help me with this, internet marketing stuff?" And then he asked me, he said, "Will you help me with my sales?" Because he didn't have a lot of social skills at the time. He had studied some sales and some marketing, but his social skills weren't 100%. So basically, he had me help him sell SEO and websites, and then in exchange, he was going to help me build my website. It turned out we made so much money together, selling websites and SEO, that we ended up not doing anything about my real estate thing. We became partners in this business, and we grew his business over the next 2 years. But of course, I was, an employee under him as well, and I wanted to start my own thing. So on the weekends, I started teaching workshops around social media and just teaching people like 101 basic things about social media. Okay, this is like way back in like 2008, 2009 kind of time. Okay. And once I started getting into it, I started trying to find mentors. Okay. I tried to find as much knowledge as I possibly could. I found out about people like Evan Pagan. I found people like Gary Vaynerchuk. I remember the day that I started reading The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And I remember thinking to myself in that moment, like, oh shit, I should have read this a long time ago. Like I realized I had been missing so much information. You just don't know what you don't know. Then I found people like Seth Godin, who was kind of the pioneer of social media marketing, right? So if you haven't read a book by him, I highly recommend you do. I started going on YouTube. I watched hundreds and hundreds of hours, literally, of, TED Talks, inspirational TED Talks, business talks. I watched a thing called the Entrepreneurs Thought Leaders Program from Stanford. Okay, that's where they get entrepreneurs who went to like Harvard and Stanford. People like Mark Zuckerberg, the guys who created Instagram, like just Eric Ries. A lot of these like people who you now may know of that are leaders in the business world. Well, I was listening to them, 7 or 8 years ago on YouTube at this Entrepreneurs Thought Leader when they were first starting out. First starting to get momentum in their businesses, and I just soaked up as much information as I possibly could. And then a friend of mine gave me this program on the bottom right. Who knows what program this is? Who can name it? Just curious. All right, we apparently just lost audio. You guys can still hear me, right? Someone just said they lost audio. Okay, perfect. All right. So, all right, great. So, who can name the course? So far, I haven't got anything. There we go. Lori got it. So it's Traffic Secrets 2.0. Okay. So what's special about Traffic Secrets 2.0 is that this was the first $1 million product launch. So you're familiar with like Jeff Walker's product launch, and these all the internet marketing gurus, and not even just internet marketing gurus, but now just kind of like the internet marketing launches, the info product launches. This was the first time that someone had done it and made over $1 million. All right, so it was a huge deal. Someone gave this to me. It was like it was just like gold, gold in my hands, And this product actually started the Internet Masterminds meetup, because what happened was when I got this program, I didn't know a lot about internet marketing, so I wanted to get other people who were into internet marketing to learn with me so we could learn together. So I invited a few friends that I had met at another meetup. We all said, okay, this weekend we're at my place. We're gonna watch this entire training all weekend, do nothing else but watch this training. And I believe it was like 12 hours of videos, I believe, or maybe more. And we got through maybe like the first 2 or 3 discs, and then we just started talking and masterminding. We never actually finished the whole program. It was kind of funny, but then we ended up starting the Internet Masterminds meetup group, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like a side story of kind of what happened there. All right, so this is where I'm at now. So we started Web Friendly back in 2009. That's my company. We started the Internet Masterminds at the same time. It was around 2009. They were only a couple months apart. I started something called the Facebook for Brands program back in 2010. All right, and that was where we were teaching people how to market and promote their business through Facebook solely. Then I started the Social Media Director program, and then we started what's called the SEO Director program. Right, so those are like the core products of our business right now. All right. I have been able to have the opportunity to speak at conferences all over Vancouver, as well as I went to Toronto this last November. I spoke at Socialite. I also took a 5-week trip this last summer, and I went to Thailand. I went all over Thailand. It was amazing. Anyone who hasn't been to Thailand, I highly recommend it. I also went to Australia a couple of years ago. Also did 5 weeks in Australia. Australia is bloody expensive. All right, so I don't know if I actually recommend people from Vancouver going to Australia, because Australia is so similar to Vancouver that it's kind of like just expensive. So I also did an impromptu trip to Vegas and then Disneyland right after. I spent 3 days in Vegas. Then I took the bus. I went to LA, and then I went to Disneyland. Then I went to Universal Studios, and I got to get my dream car. I've always wanted a Mercedes. I finally got to have my Mercedes, and I also get to buy a lot of cool toys. So I like to collect FX lightsaber. So if you're ever thinking about the perfect gift for me, I'm looking for the original FX lightsabers. If you ever find them, let me know. So I just recently got the Kylo sorry, not Ren, the Kylo Ren lightsaber as part of my collection. So I'm sharing this with you to show you that, although I work a lot, I also have a lot of free time and I still have that lifestyle business that I want. I also spend a lot of time watching TV. All right. So, and again, I'm sharing this with you to let you know I don't work 24/7. Okay. I'm very productive with how I work, which is what I want to talk to you about today is how to be productive so you can have the time to do the stuff you really want. So I've watched all of these shows, okay, from start to finish. I love all these shows. And, and if I know that if you're working full time all the time, people might say this and be like, man, this is a waste of time. But this is my time to unplug. I get to unplug and I like to watch shows that I actually learn from. I recently just got into Survivor and I realized there was 35 seasons of Survivor. And I'm learning so much about social skills and people skills from watching Survivor. Like I really, really enjoy it. There's other shows like The Walking Dead where you probably don't learn as much, but if there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd probably be pretty good. All right. I also just had a baby. He's now just 3.5 months old. This is just his last weekend. We took a picture together. I bought him his first pair of shades. I have 3 cats, Miko, Miyagi, and Michio. So, by the way, all our names start with M. It's Matt, Marcus, Miko, Miyagi, Michio. Right? And I also play PlayStation. So, I just got a PS4 and I play Battlefield. So, if anyone has Battlefield Hardline, wants to play with me, hit me up. I'll let you know my username. I'm usually playing on the weekends and Friday nights on my time to play Battlefield. And again, I think I learned a lot from playing PlayStation as well because you learn a lot about teamwork and about working as a team in order to win. So, I want to throw that out there as well, that some people will think this is a waste of time. But I always get learning experiences from everything I do. All right. So that's enough about me. As I promised, I'm not going to go on and on about kind of who I am and all that kind of stuff. Again, you guys can Google me afterwards if you're still unfamiliar with who I am. I just want to share a little bit about me so you guys can relate. All right. So by the end of this class, this is what you're going to learn. Okay, you're going to learn the tricky trap that you may already be caught in that separates out the winners from the losers in the world of social media. You're going to learn how to tell what your income thermostat is set at, and more importantly, how to raise it so you are truly ready to not just dabble, but make real substantial income from your career as a social media director. All right, you're also going to learn the number one reason aspiring social media directors fail and how to overcome it and create a lucrative 6-figure business that supports the lifestyle you want. This is key. And you're going to learn how to quit your job and create a lifestyle business where you can work where you want, when you want, and make a hell of a lot more than you're making in your job right now. And I'm not talking about making $1,000 or $2,000 a month. I'm talking making a livable $5,000 to $10,000 or a lot more per month. All right. I'm also going to show you my 10K sales process. I've used this to close $10,000 plus projects with 2 30-minute phone calls. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars using the system. So I'm going to give you a little glance at what this looks like. All right, so I'm going to be honest with everyone. I have a script that I actually wrote out here that was going to go through everything we're going to talk about today. And I want to get your feedback on this because my plan was to kind of use the script and read this as we go through it so I don't miss anything. But then a part of me just wants to kind of just speak to you from the heart and just kind of go through it. I'll try to remember as much as I can and just kind of go through and speak from the heart. I just want to know, can you give me a 1 if you prefer me to just go through the script, just read the script? And give me the number 2 if you prefer me to just leave the script aside and we'll just go at it and I'll try to remember as much as I can, but I want to really speak to you from the heart. So give me a 1 for the script, give me a 2 if you want me to just go without the script. I'm going to throw the script away. All right, we got mostly 2. Okay, we got like 5 1s. That's interesting. Oh, okay, somebody said oops 2. Okay, perfect. So we are definitely going with number 2. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna get rid of this. And by the way, this is many paid. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I spent a lot of time on this. So I'm going to put it aside, and I said we're just gonna go at it. All right. So here we go. I'm kind of nervous now, but all right. So in order to become a successful social media director, you must master 3 areas. We're gonna count them down from 3 to 2, and then 1. All right, so here we go. So number 3, you must become a productivity junkie. So what it means is, what being a productivity junkie means is being in the zone and focusing on completing money-making activities. And what I mean by being in the zone is, what happens is, anyways, when you get to work, you want to make it so that when you're working, like, you're just focused. Like, I had people in the office here, they notice that I work with my headphones on. Sometimes I'm not even listening to music. I just plug my headphones in, I put them in, and I just find I'm so much more zoomed into my computer and focused. And people tell me that they don't want to interrupt me because I look so focused while I'm working. Right? It's because I'm in the zone, right? I don't come to work and kind of babble and kind of, what's going on here. I come to work with intention because I want to work and then I want to go home, right? I want that free time. I want to spend more time now with my son. I want to spend more time watching Game of Thrones. I want to spend more time playing Battlefield, right? I love working. I mean, I'm passionate about my work, but I don't think it's healthy to just be working all day long. I think it's what's most healthy is to feel great because you came to work, you accomplished your tasks, and then you went home. I love watching people in the zone. I first learned about the zone from Tony Robbins' Personal Power 2. Old school program, but that's when I first learned about what the zone was. And now when for example, Oprah Winfrey, she came to Vancouver and she did an event. And I believe tickets to the event were like around $130, $150, something like that. And I went, me and a friend of mine, we went together to Oprah. And my friends were like, why would you go to Oprah? Like, you don't even like Oprah. Like, I've never watched the Oprah show. I've never seen anything from Oprah before. The reason I went, and by the way, I got floor seats as well. I paid extra. I wanted to see her face. I wanted to see how she was on stage because I knew I would be able to capture just a little bit of the zone that she's in when she's on stage. You need to learn how to get into the zone. When I go on stage, when I'm about to present on a webinar, I get myself into the zone and then I present. So when I come to work, before I start working, I don't start dabbling. I get in the zone and I work. Okay, and what I work on are my money-making activities. So the things that when I finish them, when I complete them, they're going to add more money in my bank account. Okay, not time-wasting activities. We're going to get more deep into this in a moment. All right, so I want to be really clear. Like, you want to get into the zone. All right. So what usually happens when you try to get into the zone, your phone rings. You get a text message, right? You get an email, a Facebook alert. Things start distracting you. We call this the butterfly effect, right? Where you're like, butterfly, and you float away, right? You need to stay inside the zone and remove distraction from your work life, right? So you need to start your day by asking, are you in active mode or reactive mode? Who can guess what the difference is? All right? I'm just reading you guys' comments. All right, so active mode is when you are active and you are deciding what you're going to be doing. Reactive mode is when you're responding to those text messages, you're responding to those phone calls, right? That's being in reactive mode. So always ask yourself, are you in active mode or reactive mode? Okay, you need to be in control. There's you and there's everybody else. There's the them. Okay, so you have to choose who's in control of your day. You or your clients or your family or your personal life, or what is it? All right, so you need to stay in control because when you're in control, you stay in the zone. All right, and you need to make like actual physical changes around you, around your life, to make sure you stay in the zone. So for example, if you work from home, and I just saw a comment here of someone talking about they work at home, Lexus. So when you work from home, you might notice, like for me anyways, I remember my first day back after my paternity leave. I spent a couple of weeks at home first. I was like, okay, I'll work from the kitchen table. And I was like, I'm gonna put my headphones on, and I told my girlfriend, if the baby cries, don't, I'm working. It did not work. I was not in control. I immediately said, I got to get to a co-working space, and now I work full time at Spacecraft. I have to make sure that my environment around me allows me to stay in control. Okay, there's a lot more examples we're going to get into in a moment here. All right, so here's 5 steps to become a productivity junkie. All right, so tip number 1 is you want to turn off all your notifications. So notifications on your phone, on your emails, on your Facebook. You want to remove notifications. Notifications are a productivity killer. The other one is you want to put your phone on silent when you work. Now, on your phone, there's actually a feature there where, where you could say, do you want it to vibrate when on silent? You say no. When I flip my phone on silent, it does not vibrate, it does not make a peep. It cannot distract me. All right, so on Facebook, I make sure that all the notifications are off on Facebook. I don't get emails, I don't get notifications, I don't get anything happening within the app, nothing. You can do whatever you want on Facebook. Unless I'm on Facebook, I'm not going to see that notification. Okay, you go into your settings, you turn off all your notifications. Those annoying sounds, that beeping stuff, all that stuff is made to take your attention. I'm actually offended that Facebook has put in so much effort to steal our attention spans. I'm literally actually offended by that move, right? So you need to go in and turn all this stuff off, okay? On your phone, you want to flip it off, get vibrate off on silent. And if you're on an Apple computer, I'm sure you can do this as well on Outlook or whatever you're using. You don't want any sounds when you get an email. Okay, you want to remove all notifications and all distractions from your life. So when you are working, you stay in the zone. You don't get distracted. No butterfly effect. All right. I just want to. All right. All right, great. Just checking out your guys' comments. All right, so next up is tip number 2 is about the amount of hours you work in the day. So traditionally, most people are working 8-hour days, right? Like, who right now works an 8-hour day right now? Or actually, better question, how many hours do you typically work in a day? That's my question. Just write the number. How many hours do you typically work in a day? We got 9, 10, we got a 4, we got a 12, 7 to 9, 9 to 10, 6 to 8, 4, 10, 8, 4 to 14, 3 to 5. Okay. Monica, you're like retired. 10, 9, 4 to 6, 14, 6. Great. 10. So a lot of 10s in here. Okay. So I'm going to tell you about my work day. I want to work a 5-hour work day. And what I found, I've done this for a long time. Work a 5-hour work day, you become a lot more productive. Okay, so the way it works is that you use the 80-20 rule. You figure out, what is the 20% of the things that I can get done that is going to create 80% of my workload, right? When you work fewer hours, you actually will become more creative and have more scarcity. So as an example, we're actually going to talk about this more later, but when I, for example, put together presentations like this one here that we're doing right now, this presentation, I knew what I want to talk about. I had an outline. I've been writing out the script, okay? I wrote the script, like, where's all the stuff I want to talk about? But I didn't actually start building these slides until this morning, right? Because I knew that if I was in a time crunch, I would get it done. It would be great. And I'm really excited about this presentation. I think this is going to be an awesome presentation. We're just getting started, but there's so much more, right? And I got myself in a creative zone because I had no choice. I had to work. When you have only 5 hours to work, you get shit done. You don't let distractions get in your way. And last point here is you want to nix the always available attitude, especially when working with clients, especially as a freelance social media director. You don't want to make it so that way your clients can get a hold of you all the time. Now, one really great way of doing this is to reward yourself on that 5th hour. So you make plans to go out with your friends. You make plans to spend time with your family. You make plans to watch Game of Thrones or to play Battlefield, right? And you say, this is a time I'm going to go and watch it. Or you go to the gym. That's another one that I do. So I say, I'm going to work until this time. I've got 5 hours. Then I'm done. And I'm going to reward myself by doing whatever it is I want to do. And that's another great way of just getting stuff done, getting it out of the way. What I find when I work 8-hour days is that, I usually spend about 2 hours just dabbling, not even getting things done because I'm tired or, whatever it might be, right? Maybe I either slept in or woke up too early or, there's so many other things that happen when I'm just like, I'll just work until whatever, right? I set a schedule of how long I'm going to be working. All right. So becoming a productivity junkie, tip number 3 is to create lists. So this has been huge for me, huge. Okay. What I do is I create a to-do now list and a to-do later list. And I have a personal list, which is a smaller list. But what I do is every day when I start my workday, I look at my to-do now list and I say, what do I got to get done now, today, in the next 5 hours? What do I got to get done in order to say I am complete, you know? And this has been huge, huge. Okay, and then I have my to-do later list, which is other tasks which I might do tomorrow, or I might do later this week, or I might do next month. What I notice is that with my to-do later list is that sometimes when things are just lingering there for a long time, I remove them. I just say, I'm not going to do this. If it wasn't important enough for me to get it done in the last 30 days, it's not important. And I get rid of it and it's gone. So I'm continuously scratching things off of my to-do now list. And my to-do now list is all money-making activities, always money-making activities. Now, once in a while, personal things I got to get done as well. I'll make a list of things I got to get done personally. Like, for example, I'd get my passport renewed, stuff like that, where it's like, things I just got to keep, because I'm so much in the zone in work. It's like, I got to take time today and just figure out a couple personal things as well. And I might have a personal list that I'll also move to my to-do now list if it's there, if it's going to happen in my day. This has been huge for me. I highly recommend everybody do this. All right. Next up is to know that your personal life is going to get in your way. All right, your personal life will get in your way. And when your personal life gets in the way, it's going to create friction in your life. And you're not going to be able to focus. You're not going to be able to stay in the zone if you have friction in your life. So productivity tip number 4 is to remove friction from your life. And what I mean by that, I originally learned this from a productivity course. And basically the lesson was to figure out what's causing drama in your life, right? Where is the friction in your life? And the exercise that I did was to write down all the things that are kind of bothering me at the top of or at the back of my mind, things that are bothering me. And this was many years ago, and this was literally a life-changing event for me. Like literally, it sounds so simple, but it really was. So what happened is I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff. Then I did the 80-20 rule. So I said, okay, what are the 20% of the things on this list that are creating 80% of the friction in my life? And what they turned out to be they were pretty simple things. One was that I got into an argument with my dad, and I hadn't talked to him in a little over a week. Okay, so, maybe I was in a bad mood or something. I said something rude to him. He was upset at me. I was upset at him, but it was my fault. I knew it was my fault, but I just kind of left it, right? Then another one was with one of my best friends, one of my closer friends from high school. I was making some yo mama jokes to him and over the phone, and I thought he'd think it was funny. He didn't think it was funny. He got really offended about it, and we hadn't talked in over a month. And the last one, this is probably the biggest one at the time, was, I had an ex-girlfriend at the time. We had broken up, and we never really got closure. If anyone's been in a relationship, you know how that feels, right? We're just kind of like, I don't know where we're at. I don't know how I should feel. So that night, I text my ex, and I hadn't talked to her in, I think, a couple months or something, and I was just like, hey, what's up? And basically, I got closure, right? The next day, I phoned my friend, and I phoned my dad, and I made up with him. I apologized, right? I owned up to it. So that, that next, that next day after all that friction came off, all this weight was lifted from my shoulders. And I remember I just felt different. I felt free. I felt happy. I legitimately felt happy in my life. And it's just I never got over that. Now I know it's if I'm not happy, if there's something bothering me, I know what it is. It's friction. Right? And if there's friction, it kills my productivity. So if I want to go to the next level, if I want to be in the zone, if I want to be an A player and I want to make $10, $20, $50,000 a month, I can't do it if I have friction in my life. So I'm always looking at where's the friction, how can I remove it? I never want to create any kind of drama or live around any kind of negativity in my life. And if I do, I catch it. Okay, I catch it and I get rid of it. I let it go or I deal with it. Get rid of it. Okay, this one's been huge. Huge. All right. So productivity, becoming a productivity junkie, tip number 5. And this one here is my favorite. This is the one that's going to give you butterflies in your stomach, and that is to sabotage yourself to success. Let me tell you another story. This picture here is the first conference and big workshop that I did. Prior to this, I had done small workshops between 5 to a maximum of maybe 12 people, okay, for a weekend. This was my first time saying, I'm going to do a conference where I'm going to speak in front of a large group for an entire weekend. I'm going to teach them all my content. It scared the shit out of me to do this, okay? Because one was I was charging $500 per person, and my goal was to get 40 people. This room, I believe, had 38 people at $500 each. A few of my friends also attending. You know, sometimes you get friends that kind of come in, they're free and help out. They were also there, so there was more than 38 people. And it really almost didn't happen. So what happened was, like, I'm getting nervous just talking about the story, but what happened was I learned about this concept to sabotage yourself to success. So what I did, this is about a month prior to the day that I wanted to have this, is I went and I booked the room. And the room was, I think it was a couple $1,000s. I want to say it was like $2,000. I booked the room. I put the deposit down for the room. And I also booked catering. So this particular room was not near any places to get food. So what I did was I had to get catering for everybody. So the catering was like $5,000. It was like really expensive. The catering was the most expensive part of this whole thing. And I booked the catering. I put the deposit down for the catering. So now I was in it. Okay, I think altogether I was in it for about $5,000, which I did not have $5,000. I put on my credit card. And remember, I was just getting out of debt at this point. This is like, I was scared, okay? So now I had to sell out this workshop in order to get my money back at least, right? So I sabotaged myself to success. And this program was really the one that really launched my career. It really positioned me as an expert. It really made me feel like, okay, I can be a public speaker. I could be a professional trainer. I could charge even more for this, right? And I've continued to sell out more workshops, sell out my conferences. I've sold out huge events and conferences. I've done so much more, but it was all because it started at this event where I really sabotaged myself to success. So you want to look at what are your goals and how can you sabotage yourself to success, right? How can you make an investment that's going to make it so you can't get out of it anymore? You have to become successful at this. Otherwise, you're going to lose big time, right? This was like a huge thing for me, all right? And the last tip here, and this is the not counting is the 5 because this is kind of a bonus tip, but basically I don't work when I'm not in the zone. All right. So if I'm not feeling in the zone, I've got friction in my life, I'm just not feeling creative. It's time to get out, right? It's time to stop working. I don't work if I'm not in the zone. I'll go for a bike ride. This year is a trip I did in Saturday. I was on a work trip, but I went for a bike ride over the Golden Gate Bridge. But I bike ride a lot in the summertime here in Vancouver. I go on like 4 or 5 hour bike rides. I listen to a podcast while I'm going, right? So I can learn at the same time. But I just unplug, right? I might just go watch a movie, go to a theater by myself. Might go out, have some drinks with friends, or sometimes you just gotta go out and get drunk, just totally unplug. Whatever it is, yoga is another big one for me. I mean, I just have the contrast of like get drunk, do yoga, whatever works, right? Whatever works for you, right? And you just gotta kind of unplug. So don't force yourself. If you're not in the zone, you're not gonna be doing your greatest work, and it's time to unplug. It's time to do something else, right? You want to do great work when you are working. All right. So we just talked about number 3, which is productivity. Just curious, what do you guys think about the presentation so far? Just want to know, this is the first time I've done anything like this, by the way. I'm usually always teaching like marketing skills, right? All right, great. Okay, perfect. So far, okay, I'm getting really good feedback. Thank you. I guess if you hated it, you would have left by now. So I was only tooting my own horn there. All right. So here we go to number 2. So number 2 is about being fearless around asking for money. What's really funny about this one is that I didn't realize that people had such a fear around this. Okay. So, it was kind of weird. I was at a conference and I remember the speaker was talking about this for like the whole morning of the first day. He was talking about this and I was like, okay, like get on. I was so bored, because I never felt or realized or thought I had a fear around asking for money. I never thought of it as a thing. And, halfway through this presentation, the morning presentation, which went on for like 4 hours, I started realizing like, maybe I do have a fear around asking for money, right? Who's comfortable to write a proposal right now for over $10,000? Give a client a proposal. It's like, here, pay me $10,000. I'm just curious right now, who could say yes or no? Yes, I could do it, or no, I could not. And be honest here, right? Be honest. Okay, mostly no. Wow, I've had all no's. Okay, we got 1 yes. We got a maybe. Wow, that's amazing that everybody except for 1 person said no. Okay, we got 1 more yes. We only had 2 yeses. All right. So, yeah, so I realized that I had this fear, and by recognize it, I was able to get over it. So that's what I want to talk to you about right now. So we don't want to just pay the bills, okay? Because that was my mentality, was if I could just pay the bills and I had a little bit of money left over, I'd be happy. And at the time, my bills were low because as growing a business, I was very frugal, right? I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And my expenses were like maybe like $2,000, right? So if I had made $2,000 in that month, I was satisfied. That was all I thought that I needed. But I never got to create a lifestyle business because I was going basically like paycheck to paycheck, right? Like client to client, hoping every month I could make at least $2,000, right? If I made $3,000, I was like, hell yeah, like bring it, right? And I remember one month when I made $5,000, like phoned my mom and celebrated. I was like, I made $5,000. Like that's what it was like for me, right? And until I realized that, my income thermostat was set lower. I had money traps. Our money traps is low pricing and selling your time. So at the time, I was charging $300 a month to manage people's social media, and that's low pricing. And if somebody wanted to hire me per hour, I was charging $100 an hour. Now, that's a lot per hour, but as a freelancer, $100 an hour, I would say is kind of like, the base price that everybody should be charging at least $100 an hour. Okay, I would say. But I mean, if you're not charging even that, your income thermostat is very low right now. Okay, so I was at $100 per hour at the time. And what I realized once I reset my thinking, I realized that if I charged more, because I started charging more and people said yes, and I was like, oh my God, they said yes, right? So I charged more, they said yes. And then I started realizing that those clients were amazing. They were awesome clients, and the stress in my business and my life went way down. So when you have clients who pay you more, it's way less headache. Okay, they perceive you. They have a higher perceived value of you, so they listen more about what you're saying. When I charged $300 a month, I had my clients tell me what to do. When I started charging now, I charge $1,000 plus per month. No one's telling me what to do. They're always coming to me for advice, right? It's a totally different dynamic, right? They trust your opinion, and they stick around longer, which is huge. Right? Like you have clients who stay with you for a year plus, right? Even though they're paying you a lot more, you're able to spend more time with them, therefore get them more results, therefore make them more happy, therefore you extend the lifetime value of all of your clients. So now the minimum to work with me is $1,000 a month on a minimum 12-month commitment. So it's a $12,000 deal to work with me, right? Plus there's a bit more that's involved in that, so don't get too carried away right now. I'm going to explain to you more about my pricing and how it works later. But that's the minimum. And then I don't charge per the hour. I don't have an hourly rate. If someone says, hey, can I hire you for an hour? The answer is no. Okay. I've got too many projects on the go and I just can't handle just a one-off kind of call. So instead what I offer is a $500 meeting. This is going to be an in-person or an online meeting, and it becomes a deposit towards working together. So I will tell the person, here's the ballpark of how much it would cost to work with me. So if you're interested in working together long term, it's a $500 deposit. We come in for a meeting. That meeting can go on for an hour or two. It's a meeting of us figuring out if it makes sense for us to work together, and it's a deposit. So that's paid towards me. If we work together, that deposit would go towards that project. That's how that works. Okay, and sometimes if it has to be like a full day strategy session, I would charge even more than that. But I always charge with a deposit to work together long term. Okay, so I raised my income thermostat. I started getting higher paying clients, way better clients, a lot less stress. So where is your income thermostat set at now? I'm kind of curious kind of where you guys are at right now. Very curious if you could be honest with me in the chat. Only I can see it. I'd be very interested to know if you can tell me. So when I first started, it was $2,000, okay? My mom told me I should be a manager at McDonald's, okay? Not dissing my mom at all, but my mom thought, she was so afraid, anyone who's had kids, you're so afraid your child's gonna be a failure or fall to drugs or drug dealing or go into jail. And I was a bad kid, honestly, okay? I was a pretty bad kid. So like for me to just get a job at McDonald's was great, but I got fired from my job at McDonald's, okay? But, at first I was just like, if I could just make $2,000 a month, I'd be happy. But then I realized that's not enough. So I was like, okay, $5,000. I remember when I made $5,000, I'm like, okay, I can make $5,000 every month, right? Then when I got to 5, I was like, what about if I want to make 6 figures? If you want to make $100,000 a year, you're gonna make $8,000 a month. So I was like, okay, I want to have a six-figure lifestyle business. So my goal became 8,000. Then as soon as I got to 8,000, it quickly went to 10. And then I've had $50,000. I've had between $10,000 to $50,000 plus months ever since. I've had a month where I made over $60,000, right? And so as my my income thermostat kept getting set higher, now if I made $2,000 a month, I'm just like, what the F, right? I'm gonna not swear, but I'd be like, it's not a good situation, right? So now it's always like, I'm making at least 10,000. Like if I'm kind of like working part-time on paternity leave, I'm making $10,000 a month, right? But otherwise it's keeps going higher and higher because I've set my income thermostat higher. So I'm curious, I want to know an honest answer from each of you. Where's your real income thermostat now, right? How much is what's okay for you to make per month? Type it in the questions box right now. Let me know right now what it is. $3,500. All right. 8,000. Awesome. All right. One person said they charge $50 an hour. Get to raise that for sure. 2,000 for 3 days. So what's the monthly? I'm trying to get a monthly gauge here. All right. So 5K, good. 5,000, perfect. Right. Someone wants to replace their corporate income, so at least $10,000 per month. Good. Right. That's a good level. 6 to 8, 7. Way too low. Yeah. $20,000 a month. Now, by the way, when I'm talking income thermostat, this is how much you're currently making per month. This is not your goal. Don't confuse this for a goal. This is like, what are you really making right now? That is your income thermostat. We're not goal setting here. All right. So if you look at the last few months, how much have you been making per month? That is your income thermostat. No, oh, I will make so much. Okay. 4, 10, okay, 6,000. All right, 10. All right. I have a feeling some people may have misunderstood the question, so I want to know what's the monthly that you're making now, right? So okay, so that was a good one. 5,000, good. 2,500. All right, good. So you guys gotta have to raise this up. All right. So if you want to become a freelancer, social media director, or freelancer, anything, what I've realized is that you need to be in the six figures because there's so many expenses that come with running a business and growing it at the point where you can be productive and work that 5-hour day, that you need to be making at least $8,000 per month. And I want to say 10 because I noticed as soon as I got to 8, it was just like, boom, I was making 10. It was almost like 8 didn't exist anymore, right? It's like kind of like once you get around 8, you end up just going over it and over it and over it, right? So let's just say it's $10,000 per month. We're talking about $120,000 a year. That what I think in order to be successful as a freelancer to have a lifestyle business, you need to be making $10,000 per month. So you need to start thinking about what are some high income skills that you could start using to get to that $10,000 a month level. All right. I think that you'll be stressed out, sick, unhealthy, getting fat, if you don't get to that level because you'll just be overworking, you're not investing in your health, you can't afford vacations and trips, you can't afford a nice car, you're wasting time on the bus, maybe you haven't even bought, like I went and bought, this is like a $3,000 or $3,500 computer, some people only have like a $500 computer that's slow. It's killing your productivity. You need to have this extra income to be able to buy these things without thought because it's going to save you an extra hour a day. Right? I mean, it's huge in order to create that lifestyle business. So you need to be getting to at least $10,000 per month if you want to be a freelancer. You can't be a freelancer or stay a freelancer if you're going to be below that. I'm going to say 8 to 10. All right. That's been my experience anyways. And I'm sure a lot of you may agree with this. All right. All right. Someone said they want to run away from home. All right. So how to set your income thermostat higher? So you want to ask yourself, how much money did you make over the last year? Right. So how much money did you make last year? That is your income thermostat right now. Okay. Whoops, what just happened there? There we go. And how much do you want to make this year? Right. So think about it. How much did you make last year, and how much can you realistically make this year doing what you're doing? right? How many hours do you want to work per day? Now, this is key because remember, I talked about working 5 hours a day. You might want to work more than that, but how many hours do you want to work per day? And how much vacation time do you want per year? This is all going to come into play right now. We're going to get real about it right now, okay? We're going to figure out if you want to get to $100,000 a year, how much money you really need to be making, all right? We're going to break down some numbers. So if our goal is $100,000, and you want a 5-week vacation. I just use 5 weeks because I, for some reason, take 5-week holidays. Okay, I did Australia 5 weeks, I did Mexico 5 weeks, and I did Thailand for 5 weeks. Okay, and 5-week vacations are awesome. I work kind of part time while I'm working, and again, because I'm still making money. Like when I was in Australia, I still made $8,000, and I wasn't even really working. When I was in Thailand, the same thing happened. I made over $10,000, one project, kind of working. Okay, I don't even want to admit how few hours I worked to make that money. Just in case my client ever hears it, but it paid for the whole trip and more, right? Like Australia is bloody expensive. I just don't go to Australia. But Thailand was amazing. You can make a lot of money living in Thailand as well. And let's say you want to do a 5 hours per day, and you're not going to work on the weekends. I personally don't work on the weekends, and I tell my clients not to call me on the weekends unless it's like an urgent emergency. I'm not working on the weekends. I'm spending time with my family or whatever. Okay, like I spend time on my own. Once in a while, I will kind of maybe do a project on a Sunday night kind of thing, but not very often, okay? Especially not now that I have a new son. All right, so let's just say that those are our numbers, just for example, okay? You could set your own to whatever you want. I'm just gonna show you how I do the math. So what I figured out here was that this turns into 235 working days, which equals $425 per day. So based on what I just showed you, you have to be making $425 per day on a 5-hour workday, no weekends, and you have 5 weeks off per year, all right? And that equals into 1,175 hours per year at $85 per hour. Not that you're gonna charge $85 per hour, but just so you know what your minimum time would be worth. Okay, based on these numbers. Now, again, you could do your own math and figure this out for yourself. It helps you just get a gauge. How much money you got to make, right? And it kind of helps you day by day or by week or by month. You got to kind of figure out where are you at in order to reach your goal, all right? So now we did productivity and your income thermostat, all right? So far, do you guys have any questions about anything we just covered around raising your income thermostat? We got a question here. What does a social media director do? We're actually going to talk about that shortly. Good question, though. All right. That was the only question. Good. So I'm going to keep moving. I hope I'm moving at a good pace, not too slow, not too fast. Let me know if you guys want me to slow down or speed up. Okay, I'll go at your pace. So number one is to become a success modeler. Now, this is huge. Now, I showed you this earlier where I showed you, kind of the people who influenced me in my life. Well, the person who I really wanted to model and my success modeler was, people like Evan Pagan, right? It's top left. Tony Robbins. I actually learned this concept from Tony Robbins, right? And Gary Vaynerchuk, Tim Ferriss, Seth Godin, and a lot of other people who I found online. And what was key here is that, I was looking for people to learn from because I don't want to just figure things out on my own. I want to find somebody who's already been successful at what I want to do and then model them. Okay? I want to be like them. So as an example, recently I started getting into like sales funnels. A lot of you know that, right? I started getting into ClickFunnels. I found this guy named Russell Brunson and I was like, this guy seems to really know his stuff. So I bought pretty much everything he has to offer, all these different courses and videos. I got these softwares and all this stuff, and I modeled success, and I become super successful at building sales funnels. Now I charge a lot of money just to build sales funnels for people, right? So I found somebody who's really good at what I wanted to do. Okay, that'd be one example. Right. The other one too is when I want to learn about information marketing. That's when I found Evan Pagan. He's the info marketing guru or whatever, right? And so I modeled him for success. All right. I just want to see here. We got some questions. Perfect. So you want to find someone, and there's this famous quote. I don't know if it's that famous, but it's famous to me anyways. It's by Brad Sugars, okay, the founder of Action Coach. Okay, this is one of my favorite quotes. He said, "If you want to out earn me, You have to outlearn me. I really took that to heart when I learned it. I realized I had to learn as much as possible. I started reading tons of books, listening to podcasts. Remember I told you I go for bike rides, I listen to podcasts, right? I'm always trying to learn. If I'm playing a video game, I remember when I was playing Battlefield for the first time, I was like, am I getting dumber by playing this? Like, that was in my mind. Am I getting dumber? And then I was like almost going to return my PlayStation. And then I realized I wasn't getting dumber because I was learning how to play as a team, in a team environment. And I was learning a lot about strategy and military stuff, just in case that ever happens in, like, the world ends kind of thing. And same with like watching TV shows. Like I was watching Survivor. I just started watching Survivor. And anyone who's watched Survivor, okay, I watched the season where Boston Rob dominated. Okay, it was season 23. Anyone who knows Survivor knows who Boston Rob is, and Boston Rob just dominated this game. Okay, so it's known now. I've learned now that is kind of like the best played game in Survivor. And at the time I didn't know it, and I was watching this guy as he went through it, and by the end of it, it's just like I was just so good at handling other people's problems. Like, sometimes you're dealing with like family and friends and they're mad at you for something or whatever. It's like someone came to me. I won't say who it was, but a family member came and were like mad at me about something. And I just diffused it, I just knew how to diffuse it. And I was like, kind of laughed to myself. I was like, did I just learn that from Survivor? And I did. I really did, right? So that's an example. It's like I'm always wanting to learn, okay? I'm always buying courses. I spent well over $10,000 a year just on my education, going to conferences, traveling to conferences, going to conferences, buying workshops, video programs, coaches, business coaches that I've worked with, like tons of stuff. I always want to spend. I've always had this commitment ever since I heard this that I would spend at least 10% of my income just on education. Just learning and learning more. And I'm not talking about going to college or universities. I personally think college universities is just a huge waste of money if you want to get into business. Like, unless you want to be like a doctor or a dentist or something, like you have to get licensed and go to school, like a nurse, Yeah, okay, go to school. But if you want to learn business, like, I just think that that's just the worst thing to do. You want to learn from somebody who's like in the field, who really knows what they're doing, right? Somebody like Brad Sugars, an action coach, something like that, right? So that's was my mentality from. Like, I learned this when I was very early on in my business. Like, I want to keep on learning. I keep on reading. I'm always listening to a book. I do audiobooks, right? So I'm either reading a book, or a lot of times I'm listening to books. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm watching videos. Like, always learning something new. I'm always want to buy a new course, absorb the information. I always want to figure out what's the latest, the newest strategies. You don't want to stay stagnant. If you haven't taken a course for a long time, you're going to stay stagnant. And there's a difference between watching videos on YouTube and doing your own research and learning. That is a great way of learning, but it's a lot different when you go to somebody, when you go to a conference as an example, and you learn from one person for an entire weekend and you absorb all their knowledge, right? It's kind of like going to the Matrix and you get plugged into the Matrix and it's just like you get zapped in and you learn all this knowledge, right? It's kind of like, if you go to a conference and there's like a multi-speaker event and you hear a little bit from every speaker, but you don't actually like really get a lot of ideas, but you don't absorb knowledge, And that's what I look for. I look for who can I go to and then absorb all their knowledge and put it inside me. That's what I look for. All right. So you have to become a director. Okay. You have to become a director of your own reality. You have to become a director of the marketing you do for your clients. You don't want to start working with a client and they start telling you what to do, right? You want to go in there and say, okay, here is the plan. Here's the mission. It's like making a movie. I talk a lot about your social media is like a reality show, right? You're creating this story, this ongoing story about what's really happening in your world, in your business world, in your real world, in the real life, right? It's like creating a reality show, and you want to direct the story, right? But at the same time, you want to direct your life. You want to know that you have control of your life. If there's some knowledge that you don't know yet, you need to go in and get it, right? You need to go in and get it. And that's how you're going to stay in control of your life, right? I worked in the film industry. I know what it's like to work with a director who's out of control, right? Where the lighting guys don't have respect for him and the camera guys are not really paying attention. They're doing their own shots, right? You want to stay in control. There's a lot that goes into staying in control, right? So now I'm going to share with you my business model, and a lot of you are asking kind of what does a social media director do? How much do you charge? Okay, so I'm going to share with you my business model. So this was my old business model, okay? Before, a few years ago, this is what I used to do. So it was like $300 a month. I would post on your Facebook page once a day. I'd post on Twitter 3 times a day. I'd optimize at least one video per week on your YouTube channel. And I'd always manage your reputation online. So anything you have about anything with your online marketing, you need advice about your SEO, reviews online, anything like that, I'd make sure it was all good, right? So someone Googled your name, Googled your business name, you had a good reputation. I set up like Google alerts, that sort of thing. Make sure that you have a positive reputation online. Also just giving advice to businesses and entrepreneurs about that, right? Second kind of package that I would offer is about $500 a month, and this is again like one post a day on Facebook. I'd also be managing their Facebook ads at this point as well, doing at least one social media campaign. I usually do like a viral contest or something like that per month. Doing 5 posts a day now on Twitter. I pre-schedule all these. I used to use something like Buffer, or I forget what the name was. It was like it's called Timely at the time. I'd optimize like 2 videos per week on their YouTube channel, and then I'd manage their reputation. Then I had my $1,000 a month package, right, where I do like 2 posts per day on Facebook. I manage even more campaigns for their Facebook advertising. I do 2 social media campaigns for them per month. I do 9 posts a day on Twitter. I optimize 3 videos, right? And then something happened. I created a new business model. I learned a new business model. I actually learned this from Dan Lok. You guys, who knows Dan Lok? Who knows Dan Lok? Dan Lok has been my coach and my mentor now for just over a year, and he really helped me to kind of repackage kind of what I'm doing. Yeah, a lot of people are saying, Dan the man. Yeah, a lot of people love Dan. Dan's amazing. So right now what I do is I first need all my clients to have a sales funnel. So when I drive traffic for them, I can turn a cold lead into a warm lead into a hot sale, right? And in order to do that, I need a minimum of $2,500 to build a sales funnel. In order for me to even this is for the most basic funnel, $2,500. Okay, I charge up to $20,000 to build a sales funnel, which included the copywriting, the video production, all that jazz, all the emails, all that kind of stuff to build the entire funnel out. But just to set up all the pages, a minimum $2,500. Okay, and what that includes is like consulting on the copywriting, the graphics, and the layout. I'm not actually writing or doing any of the graphic design. I'm consulting on it. I build out all the pages. I use ClickFunnels. If anyone's familiar with that, I love ClickFunnels. Okay, I monitor their analytics. I integrate with Google Analytics. I put a Facebook retargeting pixel on the site. I integrate with Wistia Video. I have a Wistia Pro account, so we have lots of analytics around the videos people watch, that sort of thing. I integrate with Wufoo if they have like an application form or surveys, that sort of thing. I set up these 2 email templates. They're just basically responders whenever somebody opts in. I integrate with some sort of an email service such as MailChimp, and I also back up all of their data as well to make sure, just in case anything happens. And then I create a campaign and report. So at the end of the month or the end of the campaign, I'll get a report at the end, right? So that's $2,500 to start. And then what I did is I cut out all my other packages, and now I only offer a package which would start at $1,000 per month. And that's here where I'm mainly doing Facebook advertising for clients, okay? So if we're not doing Facebook ads, we're running some sort of traffic. However, we're buying traffic, okay? And so most of the time, everyone's using Facebook ads, retargeting, maybe some Twitter advertising, that sort of thing. Okay, so here we're researching up to 3 audiences. I'm creating up to 24 ads, so I do 8 ads per audience. I renew all the ad sets every week, so every week I'm refreshing those ads. I'm tracking all the conversions. I'm integrating all the conversion tracking into their sales funnel so we can actually track our performance, so we can figure out how much are we spending on ads, how much is that converting into actual profits, so I could track the whole way through. I schedule Facebook updates, and I will put an update out on their Facebook page every 48 to 72 hours. Facebook has changed a lot since my older packages, so you don't require as much content on a Facebook page. You just got to keep it up to date, and then I will boost those posts to increase our engagement. And again, I'm working on a very campaign-based kind of thing with my clients. So I always create campaign reports. That way I get the case study, and then that way they can write me a great recommendation because they know exactly what I was able to accomplish for them, right? So I always create a really good campaign and report, okay? But here's the key, and this is the thing that really transformed my business. This is the thing that Dan taught me. I also charge now. I don't charge, but I basically become a partner with all my clients, where I earn between 10 to 50% of all the net sales that I generate for all my clients. So I'm now at the position where I don't work with a client unless I'm also earning a percentage of all the sales we generate. This has been a huge transformation for my business because before, I mean, I'd make $1,000 per month, which would be great. But now I've had clients where I made over $10,000 in a month because I generated over $100,000 in sales for them through our Facebook advertising campaigns, right? So now from one client, I'm making $10,000 per month from just one. I just took on a new client, and I'm expecting that we're going to be making between $20,000 to $40,000 per month once we get our campaign going. We're just starting it; like we're going to be launching his new funnel on Friday, and I'm very optimistic about it. So he actually paid a lot more than what I just showed you here. Plus, I'm getting 10% of all the sales, and we're looking to do, on the lower end, he's done about $75,000 per campaign. On the higher end, over $200,000, and we're looking to just kick that up. So, that's another way where you could be making a lot more than $10,000 per month using this kind of business model. All right. Seeing what else we got. So see you guys' questions here. If you got any questions. Um, So we got a question here. How much of my leads are organic versus paid? I've been working mostly on just paid traffic. Specifically with these kinds of campaigns, they're all paid traffic. We're using sales funnels, so we don't have a lot of like SEO that we can do with it. I love to talk to you, Chris. You just mentioned here, 1,000 leads with organic traffic. Love to talk to you. Please do shoot me an email. We can chat more about it. Right? But this here is a different model where you don't have to worry about organic. You're not going to learn about organic. I'm talking about the business model of learning how to do this so that way you can make more than $10,000 per month with this model. And as you can see, it's pretty simple, right? You got to figure out sales funnels. You got to figure out social media and Facebook ads, right? Then you got to figure out how do you structure deals, right? That's really the key here is how do you structure this kind of deal with the right kind of people? Because when I'm doing these kind of deals, I'm partnering with businesses, right? They're not my clients anymore. I'm now partners in multiple businesses, and I'm working together with these people. So it's not just anybody I'm going to work with, right? I want to find the right kind of person that we will, have a connection with and be able to work together long term. I don't want to hunt for clients all the time. I want to work with one client for years, And I'm going to show you in a second why this model is so much more beneficial as well. All right, perfect. So here we go. So in order to get these kind of clients, this is who you need to target. So I look for businesses that meet 4 criteria. So the first thing is that I'm looking for an entrepreneur who's been in business for more than a year. I want someone who's been an entrepreneur for 10 years. Maybe they just started a new business, that's fine. But I want someone who's established. Okay, so no new businesses. No, I don't work with startups. Okay. The second thing is they have to have a profitable product or service. And what this means here is that a lot of people have a product where they haven't done any advertising because they've got it all through, for example, organic or word of mouth, that sort of thing. So once we start doing advertising, they're like, oh, that takes up all our profits, right? So I need somebody who's got a very profitable product. So I'm looking for somebody that when they make a sale, that sale to them is worth at least $1,000. So that could mean that it could be $1,000 in the initial transaction, right? $1,000 in profit in the initial transaction, or maybe the lifetime value. So as an example, initial transaction is like you're doing marketing for like a business coach. A coach gets a new client, they charge that client like $1,000 a month, right? So that client's actually worth like $12,000, but the initial transaction is $1,000, but really it's worth 12, right? Another example with like lifetime value is things like gyms, gym memberships, yoga, CrossFit, stuff like that where people pay a monthly fee for a long period of time, and then it becomes worth more than $1,000, right? As an example, at like Starbucks, I believe the average lifetime value of a customer is like $16,000. It's like a really high number, right? Because people just come so often, right? The lifetime value is what we're focusing on, right? And the other one is that when I start with a client, they need a minimum of a $500 per month Facebook advertising budget. And that's just to get us started, right? That way I can start showing them some results. They get excited. Then we start doing a hell of a lot more, right? But just to start out, $500 so we can set up our initial campaigns, right? So that's kind of the criteria that I look for when I'm working with a new business, all right? And if you want to get clients like these that I talked to you about, this is the kind of criteria that you want to look for as well. So how many clients would it take for you to achieve $10,000 per month? So we're going to do a little bit more math here. I know nobody likes math, but here we go. If you charge $300 per month and you had 10 clients, you'd only be making $3,000 per month. Okay, so you would need like 30 clients to get to 10,000, right? If you charge $500 per month, right? Again, here you need like 20 clients, right? At 10, you're only getting 5,000. If you charge $1,000 per month, right? And you had 10 clients, you're making $10,000 a month, but you have 10 clients, which is a lot of clients to handle. I personally don't have 10 clients, nor would I want 10 clients. All right. So what's great about this business model is that your average lifetime value per client, per sale, initially $2,500 setup, right? To set up the sales funnel. Then $1,000 a month for 12 months. I do contracts, right? So it's an agreement for 12 months. So we're talking about $12,000 there, right? Plus 10% of, I'm going to guesstimate in a year, you'll generate them $100,000 in sales, right? Because you're doing all of their online marketing, right? Again, I've had months where I made over $100,000 for one client alone, right? So I'm just throwing out a number here. You're making about $100,000 in a year. And, this is an established business. You're selling an established product, right? Right. So that equals $26,500 per year that you'll make per client, which means that you really only need, right, like 4 clients, right? Maybe you get 5 clients. And that's all you really need. You don't have to go out and find 10 clients, right? Right now, I'm just working with 3 clients and I'm happy, right? I might, maybe after I finish these projects, maybe I'll get the third. Maybe I'll get the 4th, right? But you don't need a high volume of clients. The more clients, it becomes more work. It becomes more stress. And you could do it. I mean, if you want to work 10 hours a day and you want to get 5, 6, 7, 8 clients in doing this, you can definitely build a great business on this model, all right? And by the way, you can also charge more than 10% of the sales. I've had up to 50% on the sales. And you can charge more than $1,000 per month. I've charged up to $3,500 per month to manage social media and to manage Facebook advertising campaigns. All right. And Olivia just asked a question about how many clients can you take on. And I think I just answered your question. So I'm just looking for like 3 or 4 clients with this business model. All right. All right, so if you want to learn about the fast track to this business model, I'm about to tell you about the Social Media Director Certification Program that starts on May 5th. So stick around, we're going to get right into this. So what this includes is 5 weeks of online training twice a week. So it happens on Thursday nights from 6 until 9 p.m. And on Tuesdays from 4 until 5, we do a Q&A session with all the students in the class. You come in, you ask me any questions you want. You get to learn from other students as well. And you also get to, show me your campaigns, show me the marketing that you're doing, and get feedback on it live in the class, okay? But the primary training is on Thursday nights from 6 until 9 p.m., all right? And in week one, by the way, I see a few questions coming in. I will answer everybody's questions in about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just going to tell you about the program. I think that's going to answer a lot of questions I'm actually getting right now. And then after that, I'll answer whatever questions you want, all right? So in week one, we're going to talk about how you get clients. So no matter how social media savvy you are, you'll never be successful if you don't have a system for getting and keeping paid clients. I'll show you how to find new clients, how to put together proposals using my 10K project outline template. I'm going to show you what that looks like right here. So this is the project outline template that I created. I've been using this for years. I've done hundreds of thousands of dollars with this project outline template. I've had about 50% of the people who I've shown this to, who I've done this project outline template, I've gone through the sales process with, about 50% will take on the project. And again, these are all projects that I call the 10K project outline, where really they could be a hell of a lot more. I just showed you a $26,000 project, when you put the whole thing really together, right? But at minimum, you could be doing $10,000 deals with this, right? So basically what I give you is a set of questions you're going to ask your client or your prospect on the initial call for 30 minutes. You're going to ask them some questions. Then you're going to take those answers. You're going to be able to fill in this project outline template. Then you get them on the phone again for a 30-minute call. You send them the outline, and then you read it to them over the phone. You handle any of their objections, and then you get a yes or a no. All right. So there's a whole process that goes along with using a project outline template. And by the way, this is like a proposal. I don't call it a proposal because it is an actual project outline. It's saying, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to accomplish your goals, right? And that's why this works so well. Right, in week 2, we're going to talk about making sales. So what separates web-friendly certified social media directors from other so-called experts in the field is a relentless focus on getting real, measurable results for our clients. That's because we teach you a step-by-step process for going beyond engagement and directing your audience to sales pages and email sequence that directly lead to sales. So I'm actually going to teach you how to set up a sales funnel. And by the way, you could create an entire business around building sales funnel alone. Like this one training, you can create a freelance and lifestyle business on just this alone. I became a ClickFunnels certified partner last year. That program is now $8,000 just to learn what I'm going to teach you in this one program, in this one class. All right. And then week 3, we're going to talk about Facebook advertising. So I'll show you the 3 campaign types I use and how to set them up step by step, plus my personal review before you launch. So you could actually send me your campaign before you actually hit go and start spending money on it. Okay, you'll become a Facebook advertising expert before this class is over, as long as you just follow along and do the 3 campaigns that I show you, get my review. You're gonna become an expert at this, and that's what one of the highest paying things I think you could do as a marketer right now is master Facebook advertising. Most of the businesses, by the way, that come to me because they want help with their Facebook ads, right? They don't even know what a sales funnel is yet. They come to me, I want Facebook advertising help. And then I say, you need a sales funnel, here you need this, right? And then we'll do some Facebook advertising, right? Week 4, we're going to learn about Twitter and Instagram. So here you'll discover all the free ways of marketing and networking on Twitter, as well as how to use Twitter advertising. We'll dive into Instagram content creation and community building so you can grow your brand on the fastest growing social media platform. On week 5, you're going to learn about LinkedIn and YouTube. So you will not only learn how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and grow your connections, but you're also going to use my LinkedIn referral email, which has generated me over $20,000. So basically what I do is I email my contacts on LinkedIn and I ask them for referrals. Okay, I know it's sounds kind of silly, but it works really, really well. The least amount I made by doing this was $5,000. The first time I sent this out, I had about 400 or 500 connections the first time I tried this, and I made over $20,000 in referrals. On YouTube, you'll learn how to optimize your videos for YouTube and Google search results. And this, again, is a business in itself. I've had a few students, I think there's 3 students so far, who have built a business on just YouTube. Just what I showed them on YouTube alone. They have an entire business just optimizing videos and producing videos for clients, for businesses. All right. So each of the strategies that I'm showing you, you can build an entire business around just one of those strategies. Just one of those weeks can be an entire business in itself. But I'm going to show you how to wrap it all together and kind of wrap it up and make the most amount of profit by being able to do all this stuff for your clients. You're going to get access to the private SMD Facebook group. SMD stands for Social Media Directors. You might hear me referring to the program as the SMD. And this is where you get peer-to-peer support. So this is where you get help from other people who have been in the program. You could get feedback on your campaigns. You can ask questions in there. It's a very active group. People are in there all the time asking questions, right? You're going to get my SMD 10K project outline. So this is a $5,000 value. You're going to learn the entire sales process, what you say on the first 30-minute call, how to write the project outline, and then what to say on the second 30-minute call to close that sale. All right. You're also going to get the application process questionnaire and phone sales scripts. So this is what I use in order to capture new leads for my business. I talk to everybody one-on-one, make sure that the right fit. We basically go through some goals. We figure out what they want to achieve, see if it's the right fit. Right. So you're going to learn about the psychology around an application form, what kind of questions to ask, because different types of businesses are going to be different, kind of what kind of questions you'd ask. And then you're going to learn about what you're going to talk about on the phone. This is not going to be a sales call, right? And I put in there phone sales scripts, but it's really not a sales call. It's really, are we the right fit to work together? If we are, here's how we can move forward, right? And then that's when you're going to get to the sale, right? So I kind of don't like the word sales in this kind of area because it's really creating a win-win situation with it, right? I've also made a free ebook sales funnel. So here I've actually built the funnel for you. I've written an ebook that you can have. It's called The Business Owner's Guide to Hiring a Social Media Director. So you're going to get this ebook, put your own name on it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can change it, whatever. It's your book. It's your funnel. It's going to be a funnel built inside a ClickFunnels. So I can give you one link and then boom, it's in your account and you can go and make all your changes. There's also some email autoresponders that come out after somebody gets your ebook, which will then prompt them to get on the phone with you. So that way you can go through the sales process of creating the project outline for them. So you're going to get the entire funnel already built for you. And if you were to hire me to build your funnel, a funnel like this for you, I would charge at least $5,000, if not more, because this is the entire process. Like I've written all the content for you, everything. It's all automated. All you have to do is send traffic to it, buy some ads for it, and then optimize your ads, and you're going to see. On average, it might cost you between $100 to $200 to make a sale, but that sale is going to be worth, $26,000 to you, right? That's been my averages anyways, right? There's also going to be a live in-person 2-day social media director summit. You're going to get a ticket to that, and you're going to be competing for a $5,000 cash prize. So how do you win the prize? The person with the best case study is going to win that prize. So what's going to happen is you're going to come into the program and you're going to learn about how to actually measure your results. You're going to create a presentation about what you were able to accomplish from the program, and the person who achieves the greatest, not the greatest financial result, but just the greatest transformation result. So wherever you started from, whoever takes the biggest leap is a person who's going to win $5,000 cash at the live event. Now, the other really cool thing about this is that we're going to be filming the entire event. So when you present and you present your case study, we'll film the whole thing for you, and then you'll get a video which you can then put on YouTube, and then you can actually use that to capture more sales, because nothing sells better than a case study. When you could show other business owners that you were able to get results through social media, and you show them through this case study, you're going to be able to close sales so much easier. The other big bonus to this is that Dan Locke is going to be coaching you on structuring your presentation. And Lucas Metellio, a good friend of mine who's a public speaking coach, will be there to coach you on your public speaking skills right before the event to make sure that you can really nail it and do a really great job at this presentation. The really big thing for me at this 2-day event is for me to also get case studies for this program as well. Obviously, I want to build some really great case studies in this next program. In order to become a certified social media director, you need to be able to get 5 clients or make $2,500 within 5 weeks after the last date on the last day of the program. So the last day of the program is actually on June 2nd, which then you have 5 more weeks to accomplish this goal, which makes the deadline July 7th. All right. So you actually have to get these sales through social media, okay, through what I show you. If you go to a networking event and you get a client and they hire you to do the social media, that is awesome. You could use it for your case study, like whatever you do for that client, you can use that for your case study, but that doesn't count towards your certification, okay? So this certification is about proving that you can get leads and sales through social media, okay? That's what the certification is for. And it's not just you come to the class and you're certified, okay? So this is a real legitimate certification, all right? And you're also going to get an annual membership to this program, which means that you can drop in to any of the classes or events that we do for the next year. Okay. I used to do 4 classes per year. I'm now only doing 2 this year because I've gotten so much more client work. I'm making a lot more money with the clients that I'm working with. So I'm going to be cutting back on this. I'm planning to actually double the price of this program when we do it again in September. I'm going to tell you guys about the price in just a moment, but I will be doubling the price, hoping to double the price based on the results that we get from all the students. So I'm not sure if I'll double it or triple it, but I definitely need to raise the price because this class is limited to only 16 students. And, based on the way the whole thing works right now, I definitely need to be able to raise the price for this. All right. So you're going to get an annual membership, so you will be able to attend the next updated session as well. Okay. And anyone who's already in the program, if you it's been the last year, you're also going to get this program as well. It's all included. Anything to do with the social media director will also be included. So here's what you're getting. Okay, you're getting 5 weeks of live weekly online sessions on Thursdays and Tuesdays. Now, if you can't make it to the live class, that's okay because we record all the sessions, and then you can access them inside of the membership area as well. Okay, and you have access to all those videos for an entire year as well. Okay, you also get the SMD private Facebook group for peer-to-peer support. You get the SMD 10K project outline template. You get the application process questionnaire and phone sales scripts. You get the free ebook sales funnel. You get the live in-person 2-day social media director summit. That workshop will be in August. All right. And the total is $2,500 plus tax, or you can do monthly payments, 6 payments, $500. All right. So that is a price. I hope you guys can see the value in that. But I also want to tell you about the second option. Okay. So this is a new option called the Accelerate program. So this program is $5,000, and I'm going to explain to you why. You're also going to get what's called the Business Matchmaker program. And that's where you and I will work together one-on-one with a client. So I'm actually going to match you with a client where I actually had over, you guys, some of you may have seen this. I had over 90 people, or just sorry, I think it was 88 people that applied to work with students from the social media director. And what happens is you get to work with a business who will supply you with all the resources, whether it be graphic design, a Facebook advertising budget, whatever the resources are you need to execute your strategy, but they're not going to pay you to actually do it. Okay, so they're just going to give you all the resources and pay for all the resources you need, and then we are going to work together on the campaign to help you create a great case study and increase your chances of winning the $5,000 prize at the live event. So the way this will work is that all the processes that I show you, we're actually going to go through it together. Okay, one-on-one. So for example, the phone sales script. What we're going to do is we're going to get on the phone together with a client for 30 minutes. I'll do the first call. You'll hear me go through the call. Then you will go and write the project outline template. I'll record the call for you too, so you can keep it and you can re-listen to it. Then on the second call, you'll do the call and I'll listen in. That way I can give you feedback. Then the client will say yes or no, and then we'll move forward to the project or not, right? So you also have the option of bringing your own client that actually is paying you, and we can work on that one together as well. But if you want me to find the client for you, you tell me the industry or the niche, I'll find you the business, we'll work on it together. All right, so that's called the Business Matchmaker program. You're also gonna get 10 weeks of priority email support. So with priority email support, what's great about that is that if you have a challenge or you have a question, I actually create custom videos for you. So I use a screen recording software and I actually record a video to explain to you the answer. I've had times where I write little scripts for people and I really put a lot of effort into support through the priority email support. And once in a while, we might even jump on a quick 20-minute call just to review anything, just to make sure in case you have any challenges of anything. Okay, so you can access me through email. All right, and you're also going to get our Instant Sales Systems program. And so this was a workshop that we did live in person here in Vancouver. We just had a small group in there where we went through our entire sales process. And I taught there, Dan Locke did a presentation there, and Shane Gibson, who is a performance sales trainer, he also did about half of the training in this program as well. So you're also going to get access to the videos of this entire program, which is going to, again, enhance your sales skills. Okay, you're also going to get access to my Facebook for Brands program. Okay, so this shows you all the nitty-gritty features of Facebook, so you can optimize your profiles and pages for maximum reach. You'll also get a content calendar guide and a viral social media contest guide and a 30,000-foot view of Facebook marketing. And this is my favorite bonus. I've actually teamed up with Dan Locke in this program because, as I mentioned before, Dan is the one who actually taught me the whole idea around getting a percentage on the sales. And I learned that from his program called the Equity Income Formula. So he originally sold this for $4,000. He's going to be doing a live training. It's going to actually be on July 9th. It's going to be a 3-hour training where he's actually going to teach you exactly the stuff that I learned from him to help me structure the deals and get these kind of projects that are paying me, $10,000 or $20,000 plus per month. Okay, so you're gonna get a bonus training with multi-millionaire Dan Locke. He's my mentor, and he's gonna be your mentor as well in this program. And you're also gonna get a bonus ticket to bring a friend with you or a client to the Social Media Director Summit in August. All right. So here's what you're getting, okay? You're getting everything I already mentioned in the SMD program, but you're also getting the Business Matchmaker program. You're getting the priority email support. You're getting instant sales systems. You're getting the Facebook for Brands program. You're getting the equity income formula, and you're also going to get an extra ticket to the live event. Okay, so normally that's $5,000 or 12 payments of $500. But there's a catch to all of this. Okay, I don't just let anybody into this program. You're not going to get a link to buy right now. you have to apply in order to get into this program. As I mentioned before, I don't let just anybody in this program. And at the present time, I only have 5 spots left. We only take 16 students, okay? And we already have 11 students in the program. So if you want to get in, you have to go to webfriendly.ca/apply. And make sure to give good answers to your application. Otherwise, it will just be declined. Okay, so I get a lot of people applying who just don't put a lot of effort into the application, and I'm not going to schedule a call, because what's going to happen is after you apply, if you're accepted, you're going to get a link to schedule a call with me, and we're going to be on the phone together for about an hour. We're going to be talking about your goals. We're going to be talking about some strategies. We're going to make sure this program is the actual right fit for you. Because if it's not, I don't want you in the program. This program here is about building case studies, right? And I want to help you make not just $2,500. I want to help you make $20,000, $25,000. If I can help you get one project that's going to make you $26,000, that's the kind of stuff that gets me really excited. So I want real people who are going to put in a real effort. If you don't have any like social media knowledge right now, if you consider yourself like a Luddite, you don't know how to use a computer, don't bother applying, because it's not going to work for you. I need people who already are somewhat business savvy or have the motivation to really want to do this, okay? You've got to already be familiar with kind of like how Facebook works, right? Like you have to have a basic knowledge of social media, okay? I'm going to teach you a lot of the entrepreneurship skills, business skills, and of course these specific strategies that you're going to be doing, but you need to have a basic understanding in order to be successful with this program. So for the next 5 people who get into this program, I'm going to give you what I call my Take Action Now scholarship. And that's where you're going to get the Accelerate program for free. Okay. So basically, you're only going to pay for the SMD program for $2,500, but you're going to get the Accelerate program. So what you're going to get is 5 weeks of online training twice a week, Thursdays and Tuesdays. You're going to get access to all the recordings as well. You're going to get the SMD private Facebook group. You're going to get the 10K project outline template. You're going to get the application process and sales scripts. You're going to get the free ebook sales funnel. You're going to get the live in-person 2-day social media director summit. You're going to get the business matchmaker program. You're going to get priority email support for 10 weeks. You're going to get the instant sales systems. You're going to get the Facebook for Brands program. You're going to get Dan Locke's equity income formula. And you're going to get an extra ticket to the live in-person event in August. And normally the value of this would be over $20,000, and you're going to get it for just $2,500 or 6 monthly payments of $500. Okay, so that's the price. So I'm being totally upfront. That's how much the program is going to be, and that is it. We also have a web-friendly, better than risk-free, money-back triple guarantee. So you have the 100% satisfaction guarantee. So you have a full 30 days to examine everything, use what you wish, and if for any reason or no reason at all you want a full refund, just email web-friendly support and you'll get all your money back immediately. No questions asked. You don't need to have a dog ate my homework story. No one will ask you any questions at all. No hassle, no fine print. You can have your money back anytime within 30 days from the day that you register. Okay. There's also a 100% results guarantee. So in order to become a certified social media director with Web Friendly, you need to implement what you learn and get 5 new clients or make $2,500 minimum through social media. If after 5 weeks from the last class, which is on June 2nd, you're able to show me proof that you've used at least half of what I showed you in the program, and you will look me in the eye on paper and tell me you did not put at least $2,500 in your bank account that you would not have otherwise, send me a note describing your use and failure with the program. I will still refund every penny you've paid. So all you have to do is implement at least half of what I show you, and I'm guaranteeing that you're going to make at least $2,500. You're going to make your money back, at least, okay, by half of what I show you. And by the way, I've had students make over $20,000 by implementing one strategy that I showed them. We also have a 100% profit guarantee. So if after 10 weeks, you're still unable to get 5 clients or make $2,500, I'll still ride along with you for another 11 months to help you become a certified social media director. I want a 100% success rate with every student. Your success is my priority. Okay, so you really have nothing to lose with getting into this program besides just, you basically are, if this is something that you really want to do, okay, and you're really serious about doing it, what this is getting you to do is basically self-sabotage yourself, right? Because you're going to be putting the money in and you're going to have to become successful, right? So, after 30 days, sure, you can quit. You could say, Matt, I don't like you, whatever. Fine. But after that, you have to become successful. right? Otherwise you're going to lose that money, right? You have to just implement. And when I'm guaranteeing you that if you implement at least half of what I show you, you will be able to make all this money plus a hell of a lot more. So if you want to apply to get in, just go to webfriendly.ca/apply. And thank you for everyone who's been on the webinar. I'll take any questions. If you'd like to email me your questions as well, you can email me at lauren@webfriendly.ca. But now I'll take any of your questions about the program, about the content we talked about, or anything at all, really.